Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie West. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I am owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. Today we're going to talk about appropriate expectations, mismanaged expectations, and how sometimes we cause some of our own distress and despair. And so I just finished up a session with a client, and we had just the most raucous time together as, they were making some insights and connections about their life. And we were talking about their expectations and how sometimes the expectations are the catalyst for their distress. And they said, Steph, you wouldn't believe it. We were at work the other day and a woman came in to seek out our services, and we got a 1-star review because we didn't take her insurance. That's not related to service. That's not related to how we communicated with her. That's not related to our desire to help her. It's because we literally didn't take her insurance. So he said, so I got a little inquisitive and I wondered, hey, what's going on with this lady that she would penalize us for not taking her insurance, which isn't a flaw. It's just a circumstance, right? And so client goes and starts reading reviews, and we are just kind of, having a time together dissecting some of the feedback that this person was giving to local restaurants and to local establishments. So another 1-star review was given because I was in the mood for white fish and they didn't put white fish on their menu. Okay. So I don't know if you were like at a burger joint or you were at like an Italian place, but the fact that there's not white fish on the menu, that's probably pretty public knowledge. Your expectation that they would have it is the glitch in the system, because them not having it is not a problem. You can go somewhere that has white fish and then expectation met. You don't get to take your expectation of white fish and go into every establishment and then penalize them with a 1-star review because they didn't have the fish that you wanted. And let's use that as kind of this microcosm for how often we have an expectation, and when something or someone falls short of that expectation, we experience agitation, or we experience even, lashing out or punishing other people. And it's not what they've done often, it's our expectation about what we wanted or our expectation about what should be. And so I actually have to run this through with quite a few clients where they will have an internal dialogue about something they want to happen. So they're like, I'm going to come home from work early tonight, and I just bet that so-and-so is going to have the house cleaned, and they're going to, make me a surprise dinner and all of these things. And they've created this fantasy or this story, and they come home and everything is what it's always been. And now their feelings are hurt. And they're like, what? I can't come home early and just have a surprise from you? And it's like, okay, number one, no one knew you were coming home early. Number two, you created that story. That expectation was the problem. And that often happens where we have these fantasies or these storylines that run inside of us, and we don't take time to ask, are they realistic? Are they expressed? Should other people be responsible for meeting us in this space? Is this even a problem? And it's our expectations that can be the catalyst for distress. There was another client years ago where we would use the language like, oh, dude, you hurt your own feelings there. Like, you had an expectation that was absolutely unreasonable or not commiserate with whatever this topic was. Like, in the kindest way, you did that to yourself. I say all of this, understanding that sometimes we think we express things, sometimes people actually don't want to hear us or they're not listening. Expectations are not in and of themselves a problem. Unmanaged expectations is a catalyst for distress. And when someone doesn't meet our expectations, we have to ponder, was I clear? Did I express myself well? Am I like creating fantasy in my head and then punishing someone for not meeting me in that fantasy? There's a lot of investigation we can do into miscommunication or disappointment when we look at our expectations, wonder about them, and then also wonder, okay, if that's what I was expecting, did I communicate that well? Am I holding someone accountable, or am I punishing someone for maybe some of the fantasy that I've created here? Anyway, there's so many places we could dive into with this expectation or with this line of questioning, but I did feel like my clients' investigative reporting of this one person's Google 1-star reviews was actually quite insightful as it relates to sometimes it's our mismatched or mismanaged expectations that are the catalyst for our distress. Please don't go into a restaurant and order the white fish and then get ticked off it's not on the menu and say that it's the restaurant's problem. I don't think that actually tracks well.